back with our third guest on the show, Jace Myers with Lola Olas. Thanks, Jace, for being on our show today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about your company and where it got its name.
Well, Lola is the name of our first daughter. We've also got another one now named Hazel, but Olas is Spanish for waves, so it rhymed and just seemed to work well for us. So while it might be a bit confusing for customers, we specialize in surf, skim, and stand-up paddleboard lessons.
Okay, let's start with the surfing part. Tell us a little bit about that, what goes with the surfing. I know you actually gave me lessons last summer.
Sure.
I got out there and learned how to do it, loved it. Now I've got a board to practice on, a beginner board.
Excellent.
So tell us a little bit about surfing in general.
Sure, a lot of people are drawn to surfing and want to try it, and they vacation in this area, and we love to try to help get them out there on the water and experience the waves and kind of share our passion for surfing.
Right.
That's really how I got into all these water sports. So we take soft top surfboards, which are very safe, with flexible fins, so there's really minimal occurrence of any sort of dangerous situation, and just really get out there and try to build confidence and comfort in the water and help them learn a sport that hopefully, like you, they can be addicted to for life and keep having a good time.
And what are the ages that you do surf lessons for?
We can go as young as 5, and we've had as old as 62, 63. So a wide range, very diverse, and that's a lot of fun as well. Really all we ask is that people are comfortable in the water and can essentially keep their heads afloat. And most of the time we're not even in water that's over their head anyway, so it's not a concern, but it's a lot of fun. A big group, big wide age range there.
And you can do private lessons and group lessons? Is that
we
right?
can. We can do one-on-one, much like we did with you last year. We can do groups up to about 6. We get some helpers to come in and kind of manage the situation so we're not, herding cats.
Okay. And the skim part, that is not my favorite thing, as you know. I've tried it a few times and I'm still learning. But tell us a little bit about that if our viewers do not know what that is.
Sure. Skimboarding are the little thin, small boards that, through the 70s and 80s were really round discs that you just kind of throw on the edge of the water out at the ocean and slide along the sand. Now the boards are a little more technology driven and kind of made for going out into waves and jumping and turning, so kids really enjoy them. And for a kid that may not be ready to get out into the ocean yet and maybe a little apprehensive about the waves, we can keep them in the ankle deep water and just slide around and have a big time.
Okay, and you do camp for the kids with the surfing and the skim, is that correct?
That's correct. We have what we call our Lola Olas Surf and Skim School. And so through the summers we have 8 weeks worth of the Lola Olas Surf and Skim School, and each week is a 3-day session for 2 hours each morning, and we expose them to both surfing and skimming, and we bring out icy pops and bottled water and just have a big time. It's really a fun atmosphere, and that's our thing. We're not trying to create professional surfers or skimboarders. We just want to essentially, it's glorified babysitting, and we have a big time out there and play with the kids.
And when's your first session for that?
It's the first week when school gets out. I believe it's June 8th through 10th, something like that. And then they'll be weekly through the month of July. And then unfortunately I go back to my real job at Brunswick Community College as an instructor.
Okay. And let's move on to the paddleboard. This is one of my favorite things. We're actually standing here with 2 paddleboards, and that's a big part of your company, of your job. Tell us a little bit about the paddleboards, and then we'll go into detail of how you get on a paddleboard and things like that.
Well, paddleboarding really blew up in the past decade or so. It's really kind of born out of surfing. It's just a bigger version of a surfboard with greater length and more width and thickness. So you get a lot of volume, and it enables you to actually stand on the boards instead of having to lie on them. And so it's a relatively easy sport to learn. Anywhere there's water, you can do it. It makes it a real fast-growing sport across the country right now, not just near oceans, but even inland bodies of water. And so all you need is a board and a paddle and some water, and anybody can step on them and learn. And that's what makes it neat. We get a lot of folks that have seen it, they're very curious about it, and they want to try it, and they find their way to us. And we come right here to this location and take off through the marsh and backwaters and go exploring.
Now, do you have different sizes of the paddleboards? Does it depend on a person's weight or size?
Sure. We do. We have 2 different sizes of paddleboards. This is a Nash Nalu 1010. It's 10 foot 10 inches long, about 33 inches wide, about 5 inches thick. So essentially with paddleboards we measure them in volume, and this one is about 200 liters of volume. General rules, you could add about 50 to that number, and that's the weight it could carry. So these boards could easily carry someone in the 250-pound range. We have one other board called a Riviera that's a little smaller. So if we have folks like yourself that might be a little lighter, or perhaps kids or young women, we can take them out and get them going and not have such a large board to manage in the water.
And with the paddleboard, you also do private lessons and group. I know I've seen you with group lessons out here before. How big, what's the biggest group lesson, I guess, you've given?
We've given groups up to 7 we can handle, and again, we just try to keep things safe. If we get a little more than that, we can get kind of strung out, and it's hard to keep up with everyone. But we do private flat water lessons like this here, where you don't have the ocean waves to manage as you learn. We also do group flat water lessons and sunset tours. Those are really kind of neat. We leave out about an hour and a half before sunset, and so you get to watch the sun go down while you're out on the water. It's a really neat perspective. And then also for those that really get comfortable and they want to try wave riding with the paddle boards, which is much like surfing, you just have the paddle to get yourself into the wave. We can take you out into the ocean and do that as well. And those are typically one-on-one just from a safety perspective.
Okay. So tell me a little bit. I'm holding the paddle right now. Now, when I'm getting on the board, is that the proper way to hold the paddle?
Okay, we'll show you. The paddles, as you'll notice, and you can probably see that on camera, they actually have some rake to them, or an angle, and so that counterintuitively actually goes away from you. So the stickers are going to be the front, the blank side is the back. That gives you a little more reach when you're reaching out with the paddle.
Okay.
But essentially what you'll be doing is, when you're paddling on your left, your right hand is going to be on top, your left hand is going to be about halfway down, and you're just going to reach out much like you would use a broom in the yard and grab the water and pull back toward your waist. And so that's going to be your paddle stroke. When you switch sides, you're just going to swap hands, put your left hand on top, right hand down on the bottom. Again, you're going to reach out and pull back toward your pocket as if you're reaching for your keys. Okay, and that's going to give you the momentum to move forward.
Now, are these adjustable? Is it the same
They
for every
are
person?
adjustable. You can see this little gauge on the back here. You can actually kind of line up with your height. Essentially what you want with a paddleboard paddle is to reach up and have your arm just slightly bent like that. And so you don't want to reach excessively. That makes the paddle a little too long. And also you want it above your head, because if it's too short, you can't really reach into the water with it.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I think we're gonna actually get on the board and paddle a little bit. What do I need to do with this?
Okay, this is a leash.
Getting on a paddleboard.
Gotcha. I think the key thing really is safety. We want to make sure that first and foremost we're protecting the riders and the participants. So we do have a leash to tether you to the board in the event that you fall. Most people don't, but if you did, that way you don't have to swim after the board. With the wind and the current, they can actually get away from you. And then we also have a personal flotation device, which is required by the Coast Guard to take with us. We offer it to folks. If they feel more comfortable, they can wear them, but ultimately we typically just strap them on the board. But the first thing is just going to be tethering the leash to your ankle. And so with flat water paddling, it doesn't really matter which ankle. And in surfing, we would put it on our back foot. But out here, since our feet are parallel, it really doesn't matter. So whatever's more comfortable. And you're just simply going to wrap it around your ankle, just right above, and nice and snug, but not overly snug. You don't want to cut off circulation or anything like that. And so now you're tethered to the board. Next thing is grab your paddle, kind of hold it out in your left hand, and we'll just pull these boards back a little bit so we can get them where they'll actually float.
We're going to try not to fall. Try.
You're fine. So once you're here, you can see the handhold in the middle. That marks your center point on the board, and it enables you to kind of line up and know where you're going to be. So basically just ease your way onto the board and straddle that handhold, and you know you're right in the middle. So just kind of step up. You can kind of use your paddle to guide you if you'd like. There you go. Perfect. So now just about a shoulder width stance right across that handhold. You're nice and sturdy. You've got your paddle. You're ready to go. It's time to go play and have some fun.
Let's go. Jace, that was so much fun.
Good times.
For all our viewers that have never done that, you really need to come out and try it. It's a whole lot of fun, a great exercise. You're working your abs, so it's great exercise. So thank you so much for doing this today.
No problem.
So much fun. If anyone is interested in the paddleboard, the surf and skim school, whether it be kids or adults, what's your contact information? How can they reach you?
The best way is to go to our website, which is olasnc.com. There you can get all the information you need, pricing, where we go, the scheduling, things like that. You could also call me directly at 910-603-3501. We'd love to talk to you and help out any way we can.
And I think the nice thing about you is, I know your camps are on the beach, but for the lessons, you come to them.
That's right.
That's really important, and it makes you unique, and I think it's a lot of fun. So I think we're going to go play a little bit more, but we'll be back. Thanks.